Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about the VERDE problem. So it turns out that you're actually the director of the scientific organization, and VERDE has two main teams, research and development. And they both have both biologists and environmental engineers. Research has an unbalanced proportion of biologists to engineers, or another word for proportion is ratio. And development actually has the inverse ratio. So, what is the ratio of biologists to environmental engineers in VERDE as a whole organization? Do you think the ratio will become equal, so 1 to 1, or not equal? Let's say the research team has 100 biologists and 200 environmental engineers. Then the ratio is 100 to 200, or 1 to 2 if we simplify. Since the development team has the inverse ratio, we know that the ratio there is 2 to 1. Now, from here, there are actually two different ways that the problem can unfold. So for the first case, if the development team has the exact inverse amount of biologists and environmental engineers, then the development team would have 200 biologists and 100 environmental engineers. And remember that Team A has 100 biologists and 200 environmental engineers. So if we add up the total amount of biologists and environmental engineers from VERDE as a whole, then we'd get that the number of biologists is 300 and the number of environmental engineers is 300. So in this case, the ratio would be 300 to 300, and we can simplify that to 1 to 1. So in the first case, the ratio actually is equal. Now let's move on to the second case. So for the second case, let's say the development team does not have the exact inverse amount of biologists and engineers. Let's say, for example, that the development team has 400 biologists and 200 engineers. Then the ratio would still be the inverse, which would be 2 to 1, but the amount of biologists and environmental engineers is not the same. Then, if we add up the amount of biologists and environmental engineers in all of VERDE, we'll get that the amount of biologists is 500 and the amount of environmental engineers is actually 400. So if we simplify it, we get a ratio of 5 to 4, which is not equal to 1 to 1. As we can see in this problem, there's not always one single correct answer. And even when there is, there are multiple ways to get that answer. So please feel free to share your reasonings, your ideas, and discuss. Thank you.